All right, everybody, this is Sheets, and I'm going to be going over the MMA slate for this weekend. As you guys may or may not have been following, I made round two of this qualifier that I won a seat to about 4 months ago, um, which requires me now to beat half the field again. So I'm going to be creating a cash game lineup for that. But this video is going to be looking at the slate from a GPP perspective. And I think that this card, it is somewhat standard in that there are a couple of key fights that have really good inside the distance props. There's a couple of higher priced guys or fighters that just don't have the upside to pay off their salary. And there's some live underdogs. And just remember what you're looking for when you're trying to find a good GPP MMA fighter is you want to either have them be able to finish early or to have the style of fight that can rack up a lot of DraftKings points if they don't finish. That being someone that can get a lot of takedowns and control time. If you're the type of guy who's kind of like a striker who will just kind of pick and win a decision, that's usually not the type of fight that we're looking to target or fighter looking to target. So what we have is we have two different panels here. We have a blank DraftKings lineup, and we also have the inside the distance props, which is where you really just can derive most of your numerical analysis. Let's put it that way. So let's look at these. We can go fight by fight, I guess. So the first fight here, the Sanders Kolaris fight. This is not particularly exciting from a inside the distance prop. See, what we're looking for is an over under 1.5 rounds of about minus 125, 130 or tighter, and certainly if they have an over or under 2.5 rounds, we want it to be at least pick 'em, to be what I consider a targetable fight. Here it's not even, and it's minus 125, so it's not the greatest fight in the world from an inside the distance prop perspective. I have heard a lot of buzz that Kolaris might be a live dog. This is the issue I have with it. So most of the reason why Kolaris is being viewed as a live dog is twofold. Number one is that Luke Sanders has this reputation for having a terrible fight IQ, meaning that he just always seems to screw up. He has this big advantage and then tends to screw up. I am of the opinion that type of narrative should be faded. Reminds me of the fight last week with Brandon Allen. Brandon Allen was a favorite over, I forgot who he was fighting, but in any case, they were saying that, oh my God, if he has the right approach, he's certainly going to win. But just count on him having the right approach. He's just an idiot. But just when people think that these guys are idiots, they find a way to have their physical abilities overcome their idiocy, so to speak. So I am not as on this Kolaris thing as other people are. As a matter of fact, I think that Luke Sanders could end up being some good leverage if Kolaris winds up being somewhat popular, which I think he could be. The other reason why people are playing Kolaris is he apparently is a really, really big chin. Strong chin. They cite a fight against Montel Jackson where he just got destroyed, like 76 significant strikes to like 10 or something, and just wouldn't get put out. I mean, that's not exactly the most ringing endorsement of someone I want to fight, pick on. Someone who I want to support, someone who's one of his main attributes is that he could just get the crap beat out of him without getting finished. I'm not interested in this. I was a little bit at the beginning of the week when I thought I had to look for underdogs, but I think I have some better ideas. So I'm, if anything, probably going to be on the Luke Sanders side and kind of fade that narrative of him being just a stupid fighter. TJ Brown and Kai Kamaka. This is, again, inside the distance prop is hopeless. Right? It's a terrible fight to say, well, I want to definitely have both sides of this. But the thing is that TJ Brown has a little bit of equity in that, well, a couple of bits. Number one, is that he actually has a better finishing rate than Kamaka as the underdog. How do I put that another way? Despite the fact that TJ Brown is the underdog, he has a stronger inside the distance prop than Kamaka, which gives him kind of inherent DK value. The other thing I would say is that him and this guy from the next fight are from this, Key Good camp, this James Krause, who I've been on like several weeks in a row now, and he was he trained Molina, who won, rather convincingly towards the end as a decent sized underdog. I think he gets this guys prepared, and I think TJ Brown has an interesting advantage in that he can go for takedowns if he wants, and Kai Kamaka has a terrible takedown defense. And you combine that with a good trainer who will game plan properly, and I think this is a very, very live dog. So I think TJ Brown might be my favorite dog on the slate. Well, maybe. That's where I'm at least from at this point. I don't think I need to go both sides of this fight. Again, if Kamaka had a good inside the distance prop, I'd say I would need to hedge, but I just don't think I need to. Benitez Pierce, it's another one. The same type of thing. You have Pierce, who has that Key Good camp, Key Good trainer, and despite him being an underdog, I think he's got a decent path to victory as well. Now, again, the inside the distance prop is kind of, well, I shouldn't say hopeless. It's fine. Actually, this is better than some of the others. The issue with this one is that most of the inside the distance business is because of Benitez. Like, Benitez definitely has more KO upside than Pierce does. So if you play Pierce, it's you're not getting everything. You're not getting a live dog and one that rates to finish. You're getting just kind of a live dog. Like, I think if anybody was going to finish in this spot, it would probably be Benitez. So if you are going to play Pierce, I do think it's actually not the worst idea in the world to get some Benitez on the other side of that. So I think that's fair. But it's not like a key fight you just have to play, because just the inside the distance prop is not that great. The one that, to me, is one of the spots you do have to target is this Michelitis thing. So Michelitis is fighting a KB Bueller, who honestly no one can get any tape off of. Very, very limited tape. There's one fight where he got basically knocked out by a jab. Not the greatest look in the world. And this Michelitis guy, he's much tougher, much stronger. He lost his last fight. He got put through the cage and through the ropes or something, and they had to stop the fight. It was kind of bizarre. But this is the type of thing you're looking for. This over under 1.5 rounds is almost a pick 'em, and over under 2.5 rounds you would have to lay $1.75. So this is a key fight, and it's all on the Michelitis side. He's going to be popular, I imagine, but he's certainly a core play. He's got a good inside the distance prop. He's a big favorite, and that's one. Luna is 9,400 with a terrible inside the distance prop. Typical women's fight that rates to go all the way to decision, and it's just a bad DFS play. I mean, certainly she could do something, but if anything, I mean, if you want to try Sam Hughes. Sam Hughes wins, gets some finish or something like that, or gets a win, you're going to be well ahead of the field. Then you can root against all these live underdogs. Maybe Sam Hughes is the pivot here, but I definitely wouldn't take Loma with a terrible inside the distance prop at 9,400. Pinheiro Marcos, again, just hopeless inside the distance prop. It's not a fight you really want to target, and it's not as if this is a good live dog or anything with Marcos. If anything, I think Pinheiro is probably the play, but there's just no rush to play this fight. Same thing with here. Potalejo against Carolina. Let me just look at these numbers. Just hopeless DFS fight. If I had some kind of lean on Carolina, maybe, but I just don't. So this is what I was kind of talking about before. So at first glance, you would say, okay, Merab Dvalishvili, this fight, what do you want to play this for? I mean, it's a terrible inside the distance prop. It's 3-1 favorite to go to decision. But the difference is this is your classic type of fight where, you know, the winner or the favorite, well, whoever the winner is going to pick up points from a lot of takedowns, and those takedowns just add up. Merab just keeps going for them, and it's a weird little bit of irony in that he doesn't actually control his guy all that well. So what that does is that it doesn't allow for control time points, but what it does is allow the guy to get up so that he can get put back down again. So it's like that center in DFS who's not very good, but in basketball that just keeps missing his little putbacks. All that does is give him more rebounds and more putbacks, more rebounds and more rebounds, and then he scores. As opposed to the guy who's actually good, he'll score. Not that Merab isn't good, but you know, hopefully you get the point. If you want to try something, so I don't get too much into this, but there's one difference in scoring between the two sites, DraftKings and FanDuel, which I think is worth mentioning, is that FanDuel really rewards takedown defense. If you stuff a takedown attempt, you get points for it. So if you want to play Cody Stamann, you can rack up points where even in a loss, he might be pretty decent just because of all the different takedown attempts Merab is going to make. So, part of me wants to even try Cody Stamann as a insanely low owned pivot, because, this is what Merab's path is, just takedown, takedown, takedown. But Cody Stamann is a good wrestler. So if he just keeps on fending it off and hanging around and whatever it is, you never know what can happen. So maybe Stamann is just an insanely good, low-owned play. Maybe not. Just kind of thinking about that out loud. Merab is certainly a key piece. He just has all of that takedown upside. Even though he's 9,100, like for example, he's certainly a better option, at least for me, than the guy in the next fight, which we're going to get to. So Strickland, Jocko. So Strickland's 9,100 also, pretty much the same as Merab, and this is an equally terrible inside the distance prop, right? But unlike Merab, Strickland does not have that style upside. He doesn't have the takedowns to overcome the lack of an inside the distance prop. So I mean, his only path to success at 9,100 is basically a first round KO. And just the odds just don't support that. I mean, it's certainly possible that could happen. We have Strickland even wins by any TKO is plus 250. So the odds are significantly against that, and that's in any round. I mean, you really kind of need it in the first round to pay off 9,200. So I'm probably going to be passing on this one. So the one you can't pass on is this Jacoby Kutleba fight. This one is basically the DFS nuts. You have a close spread, and you also have an inside the distance prop where it's basically pick 'em to even go through two rounds. Over under is pick 'em for 1.5 rounds. You can get 2-1 on it going over 2.5 rounds. So this is one you want to have both, you want to attack. And the thing is that while I don't say the majority of it, so Kutalab is the draw of this fight. Like he's like a freaking wild man. Like he goes out and just goes freaking nuts here. Like you think about this, for to win by TKO, he's plus 125. I mean, his odds just to win are like minus 140. But Jacoby wins by TKO is plus 260. So the odds are that if someone gets knocked out, it's going to be Kutlaba knocking out Jacoby. But, Kutalaba, as a result of everything I just said, is going to be extremely popular, right? You have a very fair price with a really good inside the distance prop, and people love playing guys like this, as they should. It's going to be really popular, and if he goes swinging like a wild man and just can't get it done after the first round and then just completely gasses out, then Jacoby comes and finishes him in the second round, you've gotten some serious leverage on the field. So I am definitely getting both sides of this one. I am not just going with the Kutalaba side, who's going to be just significantly more owned than the Jacoby side. So I am definitely going to take both of those guys. Giga, Cub Swanson. In my opinion, if you play Giga, you just don't. That's again. This is a bad play. I mean, theoretically. I mean, because he's 8,600, a bad inside the distance prop. All of his wins are just really boring 70-point DK wins. So for me, that fight's going to be a pass. Cub Swanson, he's like older. I don't like taking older fighters necessarily. Father Time is undefeated as far as I'm concerned. So not that I'll never take older guys, but spot like this, I'm not going to take Cub Swanson. So I'm probably going to pass there. Where you're not going to pass is in the main event. Main event is just a perfect example of where you just have to like go all in, I would think. Because on the one hand, you have a really strong inside the distance prop that it's 150 to go over 1.5 rounds, and to go under 2.5, you got to lay $1.55. But you have that extra floor that if that does not happen, that you do have 5 rounds of points that you can pick up, right? You see the difference, right? It's not just the inside the distance prop that makes this kind of unfadeable. It's that if you don't get that finish where the odds are suggesting you'll get, then you still have all these rounds to just rack up points. And both these guys are under 8,500. So the chances that neither of them pay off their price tag is almost zero, I think. I mean, I don't know, how is it possible that you have a 5-round fight where you have the combination of the finishing abilities plus the 5 rounds, if it doesn't work out, and the 8,300, 7,900 price tags or whatever. You got to play this. I'm pretty sure that in my cash build, I'm going to play both sides. And I think in GPPs, I don't have much of an opinion either way. I'll probably play 50% Reyes, 50% Jiri. You could make the argument that Reyes is maybe a little bit more of a live dog than some others, but I'm not even going to make that stand. I'm just gonna say 50-50 Reyes and Jiri, and that's the way I would build. So just to kind of summarize, key fights, main event, Jacoby Kutalaba, and those are the key fights to take both pieces of. This is another good key one, this Mitchellitis, but I think just the Mitchellitis side. And then I did highlight some live dogs, right? The TJ Brown, I think, is live. The Jonathan Pierce, I think, is live. But that one I would probably get some on the other side. And then Marab is probably a very safe play. And then I would fade all this stuff. I would fade the Carolina fight. I would fade the Marcos fight. I would fade the Loma fight. If anything, again, take a shot at Sam Hughes just for fun. And I would not get sucked into the Colares business. I mean, you could try a little bit of it. Like if you play 20 lineups, you could play 1 or 2 with Colares, but you're gonna be under the field if you do that. I mean, Colares is gonna be extremely popular, I think. If anything, I would maybe try Sanders on the other side. But again, even that does not have the greatest inside the distance prop. What that benefits from is having been the first fight of the night. First fight of the night usually gets some lower ownership than some of the others. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Wish me luck in the cash game stuff, and I wish all of you luck in the GPP. And that'll do it.